All right. Should be live. Welcome to the Wrestling Pod. I'm your host, Carlito Santiago, and if you couldn't tell, I'm trying to act like a Dudley today, because I'm setting up for, of course, tomorrow's video, so I will be wearing these in tomorrow's episode of a little special episode for pitching ideas to WWE to use. And, of course, onto that sideline as well, I'm going to also be making a part of that video of pitching ideas to WWE. I'm going to also rant about AEW. So look out for that. I'm going to rant on AEW on that stream. Look for that tomorrow. But today, this is the August 22nd episode of SmackDown from Dublin, Ireland. That happened very early on, so I missed it. I didn't get to catch it, but I did get to hear from people who watched it using NordVPN. So, the man has come back. No, of course, not Johnny Cash, but Becky Lynch, as she came back to Ireland. The Irish edition of SmackDown opened with Becky Lynch coming out to a huge ovation from her countrymen. She talked about how important it is to have the first episode of SmackDown in Ireland, only to say the Irish fans do not deserve it. And she tried to get the show canceled. The crowd immediately started chanting for Lyra Valkyria as Becky ripped into everyone. She complained about a lack of Irish media coverage for her career. Okay. Lynch knocked this promo out of the park. But she hadn't had a chance to really sink her teeth into the current heel character until recently, and was clearly enjoying every second of this. Tiffany Stratton interrupted the man and threatened to send her packing before Nia Jax joined the party. See, Jax and Lynch attacked Tiffany until, of course, Miss Jade Cargill, a storm came a-brewing. Jade Cargill made the save, so Nick Aldis was like, yo, tag team match? All set. This is such a fucking copy and paste segment for him. It feels like a copy-paste segment, especially from last week. We got people in the ring talking, they brawl, then here comes Nick Aldis to say we're going to get a tag team match for them, probably the main event. I'm sick of this copy and pasting. SmackDown, I admire you for I praise you for your tag team division and how you work with them. But Jesus Christ, stop copy and pasting the fucking opening segment and switch it up a bit. Switch it the fuck up. Please. The fact that WWE barely did anything to hype Lynch's appearance and Happy Gilmore feels like an oversight. Especially with their Netflix relationship. B+. Cool, I mean, we started with the women, but again, this is a copy and paste segment that was incredibly predictable. So, we then got a fun little tag team match here. We got Mello, Don't Miz versus the Motor City Machine Guns. See, Carmelo Hayes and the Miz have had their back and forths, like, I want this, I want that deal. But last week, they had interrupted Chris Sabian and Alex Shelley about somehow getting a tag team championship opportunity. So, Mello and Miz accepted a tag team match scheduled for this week. So, Mello opted to tag in and started the match with Sabian, which the A-lister was more than happy to allow. Then Mello pretended he was going to tag The Miz, but pulled his hand away. Of course, a heelish move from both men who like to do that. See, Miz tagged in, and they had a brief exchange of smirks before he got on Sabian. Motor City Machine Guns used some double-team offense to take control as the show went to a break. We returned to see Motor City Machine Guns still controlling the pace with their signature fast-paced style. The Miz was able to steal the win, though, from Mello once again, but his partner didn't look too upset about it this time. This was the best match as a duo so far, but at the exchange of the Motor City Machine Guns, that is not the best option. As for the grading, though, I have to agree. This is a B. I can't give it a B- just because Motor City Machine Guns lost as much as I want to, but Mello Don't Miz is a fun little tag team. Look at them together. Anyway. Charlotte Flair took on Piper Nivens next. See, the next match here was Flair taking on Nivens, but they weren't alone, as Chelsea Green and Alba Fire were in Piper's corner. Alexa Bliss was absent because she could not compete, or even allow herself to be at the show. Something going on there, WWE? So the Queen had to go it alone. So Nivens used her size advantage to take control at first, but Flair didn't let her keep the upper hand for so long. See, Green and Fire were doing their best to keep the Queen distracted, and it helped Nivens dominate most of the match before the break. We come back, Charlotte starts building up a head of steam when of course, the commercial break is over. Green and Fire interfered while the referee was distracted to help Nivens break out of the figure 8 and hit her finisher for what ended up being her biggest singles win to date. Over a decorated superstar like Charlotte Flair. This was a decent match, but seeing Nivens get the win here, over such a big star was the best part. I mean, yeah, so then why'd you give it a B-, you fucks? Chris Moeller, why are you giving it a B- then, right? You're B-ing it because there was so much, you don't want to give it a C+. You don't want to give it what it really should be. You're giving it a B- simply because it was decent, and the minus comes in for, what, Alexa not being there? Nivens winning? I don't know. I'm going to say it's a C+. But, again, good work. See, Jimmy and Sammy had a backstage confrontation with Solo, but there was no violence. And they did not set up a U.S. title match for Clash of Paris. What are we doing here? We are one more week away. SmackDown, you're not even a week away, and you haven't set this up yet. I'm making my prediction Thursday, and you can bet your ass that. We had John Cena's farewell to Ireland. See, Cena made his way out to a big ovation from the Irish crowd for what likely will be his final appearance in the WWE ring in the country. He was joined by Logan Paul before he could even say 2 words. The social media megastar went off on Cena and the crowd. It was completely impromptu. Cena just sat back and listened until it was the right time to speak. Paul said Cena was the imposter, not him. No matter what he said, the crowd chanted against him. When Cena finally spoke, he put Paul over as a great athlete and future champion before calling him a disappointment. Cena tipped over the Prime display at ringside as he continued to complain about Paul's lack of respect for the business, which popped the crowd. You could see every step of this segment coming before it happened, but it still ended up being entertaining because Cena's one of the best persons to cut a promo in the business. He can get the crowd invested faster than anyone, and this segment was a great display of his ability. Now, Paul tried to get physical and ended up taking attitude adjustment to end the segment. Now, this is what I call B. This is not what I call a B+. This is a fucking A right across the board. This is a fucking A. So change that grade to an A. I wish I could. Change it to an A, because this is what it really should be, an A. Because this promo was great. It hypes up their fucking rivalry for Clash of Paris, and possibly Brock Lesnar coming in to ruin it for Cena. Right? You never know. But again, you can tell Cena is still having fun with his final run, like it's being back in the babyface role. Having Paul's music hit before Cena had a chance to speak was a good way to get him some heat. Paul being allowed to mention the agreement Cena had with Nikki Bella to sign to move in with him was surprising. That was touching. That's a touching one on Paul. Very touching there. But yeah, I think this match will be pretty good to see these two who were actually a tag team at Money in the Bank and now facing each other here. That's interesting. Very interesting. The Street Profits took on the MFTs, which I thought was weird. Kind of seeing it. You see, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford took on Jeff Cobb and Tonga Loa. Not Tonga Loa this week. But as usual, Sikoa and Tonga were not far behind. See, Loa and Dawkins started for their teams, and the Profits took control with quick double team offense. After the initial onslaught, it felt like this match was all MFTs. Big Jim tried to provide some support by attacking Talo with a chair, but he was chased away by the Giants. See, Sane showed up, took out Sikoa before the Profits finished off Mateo to get the win. So the Street Profits won. That's good. This is also to set up possibly a U.S. title match between Sammy and Solo. For most of this match was pretty standard stuff, but the final few moments of it helped elevate it. So that's good. That's great to be. Good. Chance of you can't wrestle at Mateo is absurd. He may not have had a chance to shine yet, but the former Jeff Cobb is a great performer. Don't get it mistaken. Sikoa continues to be the best at taunting in the WWE today. Sure. But yeah, please give us Sikoa and Sammy if you haven't already. There is a sort of match we can skip here, but it's not as great as what we see next happen because the match never took place. So R-Truth revealed he ended up in the Raw in Dublin. He was in Dublin, Georgia instead of Dublin, Ireland. But he sent Damian Priest to fight in his place. They started brawling as soon as Priest hit the ring. The referee was trying to separate them so he could get the match. Her. I don't know why I say that. So that he. Or wait. They started brawling as soon as Priest hit the ring. The ref was trying to separate them so he could start the match with no success. But wait, isn't this her? Why are they saying he? This is a her. It's a female referee, am I correct? I don't know. Moving on. Security tried to break it up, but they kept breaking free and going after each other. It's kind of sad that it looks like WWE might have given up on Truth being the most serious character. The brawl between Priest and Black was quick and didn't have anything shocking. So, no grade. But this did have a grade. See, after Priest and Black were clearing the ringside, McIntyre showed up, gave a quick promo, directed towards Cody Rhodes, and how he's going to probably take on Cody Rhodes either at WrestlePalooza or at Clash of Paris, which it should be at Clash of Paris. So, as he was talking, Randy Orton made his return, hit an RKO out of nowhere to take down the Scottish Psychopath. This was a fun way to cap off a segment that was supposed to be a match. You had to follow up with something. And ladies and gentlemen, our main event, our sad, disappointing main event. Nia Jax and Becky Lynch had a quick meeting backstage to establish that they wanted to be on the same page despite still hating each other in real life. Tiffany ended up taking out both opponents by herself with a huge senton from the top rope to the floor within the first few minutes of the match, going to a break. Now they return to that to see Cargill taking it out on Lynch. Jax made a blind tag and took out Cargill from behind, but she took too long setting up her finisher. Lynch decided to leave Jax to fend for herself, which led to Jade and Tiffany scoring the win. This match had a few hiccups, but it was decent and had the right ending. The show went off the air after Paul was shown knocking out Cena after Nick Aldis told Cena, "Hey, I got a message from Brock." So graded a C+. And yeah, Nick Aldis, quit your shit on copying and pasting segments. Quit with the whole, I'm the best wrestler in the world. Somebody comes out, fucking says, "No, you're not. I'm going to beat your ass." They beat each other's ass, and Nick Aldis is like, "Oh, there's your main event." No. Tired of that shit. Quit that shit. So what was the final word? Well, Friday Night SmackDown from Dublin was slightly above average episode, thanks to some solid in-ring work and a few fun promos. See, Cena handling Paul with an AA after running him down on the mic was one of the best highlights of the entire show. But when it comes to the in-ring action, it was hard to pick out a standout this week. Each match had its own, fun. But if I had to pick, I think it goes to the Moxley Machine Guns and Melo Don't Miss. The Profits and the MFTs match had some fun moments, but I think Melo Don't Miss is more interesting. Ever since they reunited a few weeks ago, Melo and Miz have been on a roll. It won't be long till they end up challenging for the tag team titles. The Irish crowd was loud and excited all night, which always makes for more of an entertaining show. Let's hope France keeps the same energy next week. And of course, as we're heading to Lyons, I'm not going to be able to see it, but I will tell you this. I will still be making my predictions early for that, and I have some in the bag. So, and this, of course, overall show was graded a B. Fun moments, great moments. I think honestly this was the best promo work right here, Cena and fucking Paul. But let's check, shall we? Clash. Also, to remind everyone, too, if you guys do not know, Clash in Paris will be the final, and I hope they mention it here. Yes, right here. So, this event will also be the last WWE main roster pay-per-view live streaming on Peacock in the U.S., as the events will start beginning on ESPN, direct-to-consumer streaming service, with September's WrestlePalooza. So, there will be an ESPN streaming service. It will consume of ESPN Plus, which you have to pay a subscription for. But as far as the matches go, hold on. We have 4 matches. Cena and Paul, the Fatal 4-Way for the world title, Sheamus and Rusev and a good old Donnybrook, Roman and Bronson Reed so far. We are still waiting on Stephanie Vakir, what they're going to do with the Women's World Championship, because Stephanie Vakir is owed a world title opportunity. Now, I don't know if they're going to do a triple threat match, which is Io, Vakir, and Ripley, Vakir, and Sky. But either way, she deserves a world title match. She'll probably, I'm going to be honest, Stephanie Vakir will probably win it. But who knows? We got 4 matches. And I want to wait until Monday Night Raw, what they have to offer, what they have to bring to the table before doing anything. Also, tomorrow, if you guys have nothing to do, nothing to watch, or think that there's nothing going on, well, I got some news for you. There is Heat Wave. See, there is Heat Wave tomorrow at, let me see if I got the time for you guys. No, I like to provide some shit for you guys. Expected to go head-to-head with Forbidden Door. I don't know that... It doesn't say the time. All you know is that it's Heat Wave, Massachusetts. Oh, there it is. 7 p.m. on Peacock, if you guys want to check it out. Also, NXT pay-per-views will still be on Peacock, but the rest will be on ESPN. Anyway, going to the matches here for Heat Wave. Oba Femi and Javon Evans for the NXT title. We got a mixed tag team match. Triple threat match for the NXT women's title. We got another for the... They're going to probably give it back to this chick. NXT title. So, good 6 matches. Nothing, no. Who knows? This might be the main event. The women's might be the main event. Jodine Grace and Blake Monroe. But who knows? If you have nothing to watch tomorrow wrestling-wise, this is something you go out of your way and watch. I'll probably end up watching it just because, but yeah. That's it for SmackDown. I'll be back tomorrow to talk about AEW and how they fucked up and what they should have done when they knew they were heading downhill. And they're still heading downhill, even though Tony Khan wants to bring it up as a way of fucking, I don't know, being all cool with it and shit. On how they're better and whatnot. Fuck them. I'll rant on AEW tomorrow, and I will pitch ideas to the WWE to use. Tuesday, I'll be back for, of course, the Raw review, and then I will be making my predictions on Thursday with a SmackDown Summary on that Saturday. You guys can expect that. And, of course, I will be back to review Clash in Paris on Monday, on Labor Day. So look out for those. You guys can find them anywhere you want, but until then, I will see you guys